Hello to the chicos and the chicas, welcome back. Today I'm going to revisit one of my favorite hobby horses, and that is none other than calculation, and you guessed it correctly, calculation. This is the decisive factor for the vast majority of people who are watching this channel. The calculation skill and the difference in that skill between two players is the number one factor that decides 95%, probably more actually, of club level games. And what I have for you right here on the board is a club level game. I would like to invite you to come with me on a bit of a journey here. And I would like to ask you to conduct a little bit of a calculation. In this position with white to move, white should simply capture the rook on a8, accept his opponent's resignation, go to the pub, celebrate the victory, go home, give a hug to the kids, have a good life and a good day. But for some reason, and that does happen, by the way, on club level a fair bit, he was very tempted by this, let's call it aggressive, move rook e7, adding further threats to the equation, which, by the way, is not necessarily a bad idea as a concept, but here queen takes a8 was clearly the winning move and the winning blow. So now you being behind the black pieces, now actually I would like to swap it back. I think it's better this way. Black to move. I want you to identify black's best move and then calculate the line that you consider to be the best for both sides and give an evaluation of the resulting position. I recommend you pause the video and then you will listen to me afterward how it went, because I think this is a really cool exercise to demonstrate a number of ideas about calculation. Alright, so please click pause, because now I'm going to carry on in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Right, so the first things first, I guess you recognize that bishop e3 check is where black's only chances lie. So if you thought that bishop e3 check was correct, and that was the move to be investigated, you were right. Now, if your line went white had to take and then queen takes e3, then we failed at the first hurdle, because that is very clearly not playable. So white's best move here is actually rook f2. Now, after rook f2, if you found the idea of bishop takes f2, king takes f2, and white is winning, then you fell into the first major trap, because here king takes f2 is actually losing to the spectacular queen h4 check, utilizing the pin on the knight, winning the rook and the game. Yes, I'm aware of the fact that that rook is also hanging, but that is not going to change the evaluation of the game. This is completely winning for black. As a matter of fact, this is exactly how the game ended. Now, if you saw this and you concluded that after bishop e3 check, no matter how white reacts, black is going to win or at least be ahead, you are also wrong, because here comes our favorite concept of ensuring that we are aiming to find the best moves for both sides, because that is the only way for you to find the correct feedback for your line. And that line is that after bishop e3, rook f2, bishop takes f2, we do not take the f2 bishop, but play king f1. This is one of the most commonly committed mistake on club level, which is that we assume, subconsciously by the way, that recapture is compulsory and we don't calculate alternatives. Now, if you concluded that now this is actually white who is winning, then you still haven't done your work fully, because it needed to be seen that queen h1 loses to king takes f2. My bad, king e2. King f2 is losing to queen h4 check. So sorry, my line goes king f1, queen h1, and king e2. And now white is winning. However, if this is your main line, we are still not quite done, because seeing that after king e2 now there is no way to avoid the tragedy on g7. Oh, by the way, I must show you this. So if we go here, then of course bishop takes g7, rook takes, and then mate. is the end of the story. There's no other way to hang in there. So that's that. But in this position, it still needs to be calculated what happens after bishop takes g4. And here the forcing line is bishop takes g7, queen g7, rook g7, king takes g7, and king takes f2. And here we have a really difficult task, which is to correctly evaluate this position, which is by no means easy. And I do wonder how you fared with that if you got this far. If you didn't, I still would like to put you to the second challenge, which is to try to guess at least who is better and by how much in this position. Which again is quite easy to misevaluate with black to move. By the way, it's important to note because otherwise we could check down the bishop. So yeah, this position is definitely better for white, but not by enough so that we could claim it to be winning. The engine's main line is h5. I looked mostly at take because I wanted to see how this one would go, and I noticed that after rook d8 I have to check to pick off this pawn, and the king actually can't go to a square where it would be hidden from checks after I took this. Meaning that, for example, king g8 here, rook c8 is not gonna recuperate the material because I have the check on g3. And so the engine's move is h5, and then we go into a queen versus two rooks endgame like so. White is a pawn up, but the main reason why white is better here is because all the remaining black pawns are scattered across the board, and there is no proper cooperation between the rooks in terms of neither do they attack anything nor do they defend anything successfully, and so it's just a weird combo of weak pawns, weak king. White has the winning chances. So as you could see, this was a true roller coaster of a position starting from rook e7, and there were myriads of ways to go wrong. But, and I would like to stress this, none of the moves in the sequence were either crazy difficult to find or very tricky to visualize. It was one straight line, bishop e3, rook f2, bishop takes, king f1. And then we needed to see that bishop g4 is a must here because queen h1 is met by king e2. And then stuff just came off the board. So it was actually a very forcing line. Multiple pitfalls, of course. The main one being the queen h4 check Carino. But nonetheless, I consider that this is something that club level players can and should aim to get better at. Because once again, if this is the skill that you clearly are superior in compared to your peers, that's your safest path to continuously beating them. And the best way to practice these things, by the way, and I keep on saying this, is not necessarily only solving puzzles. It's simply engaging with any type of position with the mindset of trying to calculate what's going on, trying to figure out the threats, the corresponding threats. I want to do this, they want to do that. Based on that, figure out a line, provide an evaluation, and ta-da, you practice that very skill. And on that note, we are going to call off this second shorter video in this time. The throat is healing slowly but surely, so I will eventually get back to regular length videos, but maybe these bite-sized ones will actually become quite attractive to larger audience. We'll see. Anyway, don't forget to sub, to like, to super thank me if you can, and I am going to be back. Oh, and of course comment please, and I'll be back with the next video soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.